case of Lily and Jack Sullivan is of great interest to me for several reasons. And one of them is, of course, that there's such a similarity to the case of Sebastian Rogers. Now, the difference is that in this case, I have hope it's going to be solved. And I anticipate for it to be a great training tool and also shine some lights on what was done wrong in the investigation, the so-called investigation. In the case of Sebastian Rogers, I can't even call it that because it was botched from day one. And I like it when law enforcement in Canada states we treat every missing person's case as suspicious. And I agree, it needs to be like that. Every time somebody goes missing, suspicion has to be granted. When somebody says, hey, my son just ran away and I think a neighbor just saw him too, and I want this real hush hush, and I'm not going to call 911 or anything, it's too much attention. And just if you send a couple of guys out here to just help me find the kid, he's somewhere around here. But in reality, what that non-emergency call served was, of course, that the Proudfoots had to report something. They knew they were not going to, eventually after 2 or 3 weeks, calling sick into school or what have you. Well, it wouldn't have taken that long. I think CPS would have probably come by because they already knew there was a type of a threatening situation at home. So I don't know exactly how that all works, but I'm assuming that if you have an open CPS case and all of a sudden that child is absent from school for 4 or 5 days, they should be sending somebody out there, right? They should be like, okay, so, there has been some heavy abuse and beating going on that we cannot prove because Sebastian, obviously, according to Chris Foot's own statements, he has told us that when the CPS lady came by and he was with her and him together, Sebastian started to cower and get afraid and said, okay, it's, I did that in my last video. I went through it. That his language indicates that the moment Chris Foot came into the situation, Sebastian changed his tone because Sebastian was not safe. The CPS lady was going to leave and he was going to be at home with Katie and Chris Foot. So here, yes, they had to report something. And that was the only purpose. And Katie told us what a big deal it was for her to pick up that phone. You don't have to say, I picked up the phone and called. When she called Chris, it was agreed that he would initiate the three-way. Yeah, three-way, that's it. Three-way. Back to script, people. So here, I would love to hear the 911 call, by the way. Has the 911 call been published? I think 911 calls are the absolute ultimate best when it comes to statement analysis. And I have a few more, by the way, that I don't want to touch yet. But there are some really significant 911 calls from people in the public eye that have stood out to me tremendously. But I will do all of that in time, as time goes by. Because the most interesting cases actually are the ones that, well, first of all, they're in the past. and they're not urgent because some of them are about cases where somebody has already deceased. This is a little bit more urgent, a lot more urgent actually, people, because these kids are missing. Are they still alive? I look, he believes no. Daniel believes they're no longer. He either believes or he knows these kids are not alive anymore. Twice he referred to them in the past tense. He is not thinking of them, of Jack, as a living being out there somewhere. He's thinking about Jack of somebody in the past who is not going to come home. And what about the mom? So, yes, it could be that it's not called CPS in Canada, right? It's called uh, like Child Assistance Services or CAS or something like that. But it's the same thing, same concept. And supposedly, she was threatened by them that they were going to take her 16-month-old daughter away from her if she's going to stick around with Daniel. And that may have something to do with neighbors saying they are known as being a drug house. They had huge drug parties. Daniel only worked one shift a week. They didn't have any solid income. Did they sell drugs? Were they making money with drugs? Sweetie Pilo thinks maybe. Or the title of her video was a deal made? I can tell you that the parents have guilty knowledge, both of them. And I will show you that in this particular statement. And maybe I play the audio again, because maybe this will just otherwise be a boring video of me talking. But after I don't go from scratching one surface to scratching the surface of another case. Once I get into it, I'm into it. So yes, some of you have sent me various cases to look at, and I did. But the bottom line is I have not yet gotten into any of them the way I have gotten into this one. And of course, I like to combine things. I like to do things that not only have one potential outcome, but more than that, as we can connect this case very easily to Sebastian Rogers. Vanished without a trace. Poof! But in this case, we have two boot prints 10 feet outside of the yard. But they could have left there. They could have, I don't know. Okay, it was heavily raining. When was it raining? I don't know that yet. I haven't paid that much attention to all of the details. But let's say these footprints were fairly recent. From there, he disappeared. Both of the kids disappeared. There must have been tire tracks, right? Were they able to identify anything about them? Or, if they said that Wednesday or Thursday there was a huge drug party there. Could it have been that they were taken or given to somebody and transported way out there? But she doesn't want to say it. She just pushes for the Amber Alert because maybe she came off of drugs and realized when she was drifting in and out, allegedly, and thought, oh my God, I want my kids back now. But she knows she did something and therefore has all of this guilty knowledge. Anything is possible, but we're getting closer. So I will focus on the things that her statements can tell us for sure. And the one thing I always focus on is the word just. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. Well, that's like an inner monologue. How possible is it for you to be hopeful? Seth Rogers says, I keep hope As long as I search, my hope stays alive. But she minimizes the hope significantly. And why is she staying hopeful? Was she hopeful before? Is hope fading? Or has there not been any reason to have hope to begin with, knowing what had happened? I want them home, I want to hold them, and I want them home. I want to hold them is a lot stronger than I want them home. Because you're just introducing a location. Well, it's a warm location. Home is something warm. She doesn't say, I want them in the house. I want them home. I want them with me. I want to hold them. I want to embrace them. That's stronger than that. But what worries me now is that she says what happened was. And it is unnecessary to say what happened was before you tell us what happened. I'm assuming you're going to tell us what happened. And you can get straight into it, especially when your child is missing or your children are missing. So that tells me already what is about to be told is significantly lacking truth. There may be a partial truth here, but there are other things introduced that were not so. We woke up. That's the alibi right there. We woke up. Before we woke up, everything was normal. So whatever took place was when we were sleeping. It means that whatever took place, we are innocent of. We have no guilt in any of that. We don't know anything. Please don't ask us too many questions. Should I play the whole thing for you guys for a second? Okay, let me do that. I've gotten used to doing it that way, and it's actually better when you guys can also hear the tone of voice a little bit, because some of you are just like me paying attention to these things. I do pay attention to the tone of, I pay attention to any types of changes. First of all, anytime there's a pattern change, it doesn't matter if it's in the body language, which by the way, there is no such thing as studying body language. You either get it or you don't, but you can learn a little bit about identifying changes. Other people can do this intuitively. They realize, something just happened. Suddenly, this person is acting differently. Sometimes they speak faster. Katie Proudfoot does it all the time. Whenever she gets back into script, she races through her statements. She doesn't get flustered when she says, three-way. She doesn't do that. She gets super flustered when she races through something. That indicates to me that now she is speaking from a script that has been well prepared, people, very well prepared. And I want you to pay attention to these things as well, because many of you have been sending me statements that are excellent. And the statements you guys have been sending me are getting better and better and better. So yeah, maybe I can take a little bit of credit for that in terms of encouraging you guys to really listen to your intuition. Eventually, some of what I'm doing will be replaced by AI. But it will not be as good, because the one thing AI is missing is intuition. And intuition is infinite. And intuition doesn't have a logical pattern. Neither do synchronicities. Some things are just a part of the energy of the world. So I believe that those of you who listen to your own intuition and allow it to develop are going to be well off in the future. You're going to see through some serious BS. So I'm just staying as hopeful as. Okay, never mind. Let me play this. Guys, I will be back with Chris Foot very soon, but it's really nice to take a break. I started listening to some stuff and I just couldn't hang. And this is now urgent. We need to find out what happened here.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us. And I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." We get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They they will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now, but we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful, but there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home.
So she said, in the end, I just want to be hopeful. She doesn't have hope. That's what she's telling us very clearly, that she has no reason to have hope. And what else did she say? Let me see.
Just staying as hopeful as possible. I want possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful, but there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was.
Yeah, in a mother's mind. So she wants to reach out, she wants to ingratiate with all the mothers in the world listening and just be another mother. I'm no different than you. I didn't do anything differently than you. Don't look at me any differently because I did something or I was something that's very different. My mothering, my so called mothering style, was not that mother like. Many times in cases like these, the most significant journey is uncovering what led towards the event. And the same was with the Foots. What led towards it? What could have been a motive for a mom to over medicate him? Listen a little bit more because I didn't have space to put all this down.
It was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds.
It was one of the worst nights. So, why are you thinking about even only recent past, other than focusing on where could they be? Sorry, one moment. Go back a little bit.
And sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home.
We just want them found. I want them found. You don't say just. You don't minimize that. That's a big deal. There's a huge step between your children being missing and having them found. You don't say, I just want them found. Like Katie said, I just want them home. Chris Watts, I just want them home. What? There's no minimum. That would be the biggest deal in the world. From your hormonal reaction to your child being gone to all of a sudden reuniting. That would be like a ground shaking event. You don't minimize that by, I just want him home. Like you're kind of humble asking your dad for an extra $5 allowance. I just need $5. You know you need more. You would like to have more. I just need five. Or you try to minimize it. I just need, listen, Dad, I just need $20. You make it sound smaller than it is because you know you're asking for too much. There are many reasons we use just, and none of them are good in this type of context because you have a right to have your own children, unless you think you don't, unless you have done something really terrible or been a part of something that was really terrible. Doesn't matter if you were high on drugs or not, because drugs may bring out the worst in us, in people. But, but, you're still the same, you're still you. There are certain things some people will do when they are on drugs, and other people will do none of those things when they're on drugs. So when people say, oh, I beat my wife and my children because I was high, or because I was drunk. No, 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 no. No, no, no. You don't blame that on something that brings out the worst in you. That means the worst was already in you. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. I want them home. What happened was, now we're going to at least a partial script. That's what it tells us when you ask somebody, okay, can you tell me what happened here? Okay, wait. Okay. What happened was, when somebody says that, I already tune out. Or rather step back and look at them through a whole different lens. Because they feel the need to say that what they're about to say actually happened, indicating at least some of it didn't. And that's what's so great about statement analysis, where I read emails from people. In the first sentence, I already know the intention. At least I know where it's leading, if there is intention. That will become much clearer as I go through the next sentence and then the third one. But sometimes it's immediate. She wants to tell us a story that wasn't so. And she's telling us we woke up. That's my alibi. I know nothing. Because people are going to ask, how could this have happened? Well, don't ask me. I just woke up. I heard them playing in the next room. She's distancing herself physically from them and claiming she hadn't seen them. She hadn't seen anything. She only heard something from a distance. And also, beside us, the next room beside us is a little more crucial. They were beside you at one point. Beside you is a lot closer than in the next room. There is a contrast here. She wants to appear distant, telling us she only heard them from the distance, but at one point they were beside you. And I was drifting in and out of sleep. Could be a drug induced semi sleep or coming off of something. Yeah, it's possible, but drifting also could indicate something else. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always, what? Leave that part out and it makes sense. They're not the type of kids that maybe they're not the type of kids that go outside on their own. But they're not the type of kids to go outside on their own. She didn't say they're not the type of kids to go outside on their own. So I don't think they were supervised at all. I saw the pictures of the property and I've been hearing more and more about their lifestyle. Do you think people that have drug parties are so good at parenting that they don't let them go outside of their fenced yard into their fenced yard? They will probably explain to them, don't leave the fence, don't go with anybody, stranger danger, and so on and so on. Lily was 6, right? So you can already teach her. No, these kids were running around like anywhere, everywhere. They were not supervised. Maybe a little bit, but not in any way, shape, or form the way she's trying to portray it here. She has the intention of appearing not responsible whatsoever for her kids being gone, which indicates that there is responsibility on her part for the children disappearing. Now she disappeared from the property. Why? Okay, maybe CPS told her, you gotta go or we're gonna take the kids. You're 16 months old. Maybe that's the case, but why did she block Daniel? Daniel could be texting her, hey, guess what? Guess who just came back? She has zero hope. She's minimized hope already. But she wouldn't be able to cut contact with him completely because he would be her lifeline, one of her lifelines to the children. So the fact that she blocked him, no, I don't care how much you hate him. And of course, the difference between them and the Proudfoots is there's no unity between them, at least not anymore. And I will show you that later in this particular statement. I heard them playing in the next room beside us. No, they were beside you. You're not distancing. You're trying to distance yourself. Because you said we woke up and now you're saying you heard them playing. And then you were drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them. Maybe you told them, but you don't follow up on it. Not to go outside on their own. What does it mean? They're not the type of kids to go outside on their own. That would be a sentence, but you need to complete the sentence. They're not the types of kids that when we tell them not to go outside on their own, that they will do it. They're not that type. But you didn't finish that. Maybe you told them a couple of times not to leave the yard. I don't know. But the bottom line is, there you don't know half of the time where the kids are and what they're doing. I've seen the pictures. I don't think that, no way, Jose. We always make sure that we are out there with them. Really? Watching them. There's too many words right there. You're trying too hard. And when somebody says to you, oh, I just happen to be in a neighborhood, or it happened to be that also, this didn't just happen. They didn't just happen to get out that sliding door. And they happened to just get out the sliding door. No, you were there when they were removed or got out, probably removed or let out. And we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we were not aware of it at the time. BS. They were not outside playing. If you were not aware of it then, how would you know now? I don't think you have cameras there. And I saw a real funny comment on this, man. And it really cracked me up. Sometimes when I see you guys comment, and all of a sudden I see something that is just really harsh, but also so to the point.
I've never seen an officer.
Wait, that's not it? For sure. Okay, let me look through this because it really cracked me up. And when something cracks me up, seriously, when you have such a horrible case, it really makes it possible for me to keep on looking deeper into something because it is horrible. Okay, somebody says she just feels odd to listen to. Definitely someone sad, more sad, definitely more, seems more sad than frantic. I feel sadness from her too, but not sad enough to make her cry. And that could be guilt holding back the tears. Like, I don't have a right to cry. I did this. I participated. I enabled this. I don't see how the answers. Yeah, Sammy G had questions. Thank you for your comments. I don't understand how she knows they were out there playing if she didn't even hear them go outside. Yeah, and why she's so definitive that that's what happened. Yeah, absolutely. That's the narrative she's giving us here, man. That is the absolute narrative. I knew she was just gone. Quote from Candace Bly. Yet she knew that Summer had to leave from that basement door. She was just gone. Buddy quote from Don Wells. She was just gone, buddy. Quote from Don Wells. Yeah, good points. Okay, Lily Yanka. More like carried out through the sliding door. It's so quiet we should all get the name of the manufacturer and go get us one right away. I agree, man. But I'm looking for this. I don't believe that they always watch children. They're guilty now. Yes, absolutely. Sweet soul, absolutely. Because last night I didn't have them in their beds. Well, then where did you have them, huh? The sliding door. Yeah, I would love to test the sliding door. I would love to. Seriously, a lot of you have caught this. Sliding doors are very heavy usually. And many of you think it's a drug, that the kids got into the drugs. I don't know. Yet they came. Uh, where's this comment, man? Drifting sounds like the kids could be in water. Yes. It's also a big possibility, man. And she's talking about, I hope they're warm, maybe in cold water somewhere. She said they were playing outside, go back to the sliding doors. Oh, yeah, there's so much here, man. There's so much that you guys already see. Oh, maybe it was the other video. Hold on. Hold on, people. I was about to. Maybe this comment is here that I liked so much. And I need to share it. Okay, let's move on. So, no, this is nonsense. We tell them not. We always make sure that they just happen to get out that sliding door and we can't hear it. Now, I have said it before. In this case, oh, there's another thunderstorm. um, when she uses present tense, when she switches from past tense to present tense, from what I have now noticed in this short paragraph, I believe that she is introducing a script. We can't hear it when it opens. But what about that specific time? You keep this very general. We can't hear it when it opens. No, I don't believe that. I mean, the person said something. Yeah, this trailer is just a crap hole, but they have like German engineering on the sliding doors or something like that, with the ultra silent version. That the only one that doesn't know sliding. I have a sliding. Do you ever hear my sliding door in my videos, people? I'm sure if you watch my videos, you probably heard it many times. I like the air. But I hear a couple of motorcycles going by very fast, and then you hear me slide this thing. And no, and it's heavy. So that was a sliding door to protect this trailer from the outside, and it was so easy and so. Well, let's test it. I would like to see it tested. Daniel, can you hear me? You have a YouTube channel with your Pokemon stuff. Why don't you demonstrate to us how silent the sliding door really is? But you see, with these two, there's no unity. Chris Foot and K Foot have unity. That's how they have gotten away with it for a long time. And it took much longer for people to realize what their statements were really all about. We can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we were not aware. BS. One of the first things that I have learned about the term, the next thing I knew, is that it skips time on purpose because the person is hiding something significant that took place. And when we establish certain timelines to look at when something significant may have happened, what we need to look at usually happened right there when you see the progress within the language, the progress of time, right there when they state it. The next thing we knew has to be treated as a placeholder for something that is highly sensitive and requires our attention. After that, she says the room like it was quiet. Something significant happened before the room was quiet. And that didn't just happen to get quiet because the children walked away. No, something happened. We're not aware of it at the time. They were not playing outside. Chances are they were beside you, beside us. The next thing we knew, the room like K-Foot says it all the time, like, so like, so like, so like. It was quiet. Something really significant happened. But listen, you try to tell us they were outside playing. Of course you were not aware of it. You said they were outside playing, and the next thing you knew, the room. Did something happen in that room? Are you stuck in that room? Because the room is very significant to you. Let me read this to you. And something very significant happened that caused silence. We were in that room. We all were in that room. And now, she says in present tense, we get up. So I think that is something that is from a script that she thought about, but she's also making it up on the go, or she's adding to it, or she is now activating the script. Right now, she's present. We get up, and I tell him, my partner, she only says him. She's not on good terms with him at the moment. But she reminds herself, I need to identify this because I'm on TV and not everybody knows. And she doesn't say, I ask him. She says again, I tell him, do you hear the kids? She didn't ask him that. She told him something. And she told him something when they were discussing what they're going to tell police. These kids were missing from school, not just Friday. And that wouldn't make sense anyways, right? She wasn't in school because she was sick on Friday. But you're telling us at 10 a.m. you were not even awake, really, to call out from school or know how they are doing or how. No, they were not there on Thursday. And I was told that on Wednesday there was no school, there was a holiday. But they were not on school on Thursday or Friday. And the drug party was Wednesday or Thursday. Possibly Wednesday. Because on Thursday, the kids were not in school. It was quiet, and we get up and tell him, and I get up and tell him. We got up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear? By the way, partner, yeah, I guess, I don't know how, in different parts of the world, I guess it's fashionable to refer to somebody as your partner because some people don't want to say husband or boyfriend because I don't know what the woke movement is even all about. It's like, yeah, it means you would be somebody's property or my boy. I don't know how people even think half of the time because I don't think my partner Daniel. So maybe it's a fashionable thing in her mind to refer to somebody as partner without clearly identifying what he is to her. I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere. So let me break this everywhere down for you guys really, really quickly. When your child is missing, you will never say, "I looked everywhere." Your mind will race into every possibility where your child might be. And your focus is not going to be on having looked a lot of places. Your focus is on where you haven't looked, and you will think about it. And you may say, "Well, I looked at this place before, but maybe he crawled from here to there in the meantime. Let me look again." Those thoughts are normal. The case is not going to be closed for you if you're the mother of a missing child. You're not going to say, "Okay, this is everything clear. Let's move on. Amber alert." Yelling for them. You see, like Hayfoot yelling for them. She has to tell us a lot of insignificant things. We don't need to know what you asked or told Daniel. You could just say, "We were asleep, and when we woke up, we didn't hear our children." But maybe they were asleep, right? Wasn't it early in the morning? We woke up. I mean, what time did they not go to school? What time? None of this makes any sense, man. Let me see if I find what he said.
The last few days are very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning when we noticed that the children were gone,
Mm-hmm.
immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
Immediately you jumped into the vehicle. Immediately, right? So Friday morning, when the kids were missing, when we noticed the kids were missing. So the same way K-Foot tries to tell us it was 6 a.m. That's when he wasn't in his bed. And he is trying to sell us on this Friday morning. And that tells me that's not when the kids went missing. He says immediately he jumped in his vehicle. What do you mean by that? Your property is fairly large. Doesn't your mom and your brother live there? Don't they live there too? Did you check their rooms? Did you bang on their doors? Did you look if their kids were maybe in their rooms playing or anywhere on that property? This is complete nonsense. You wouldn't jump immediately. Or isn't there like on the side of the property something where they may have fallen? Could have been, which, of course they didn't because police would have found their bodies there. But didn't you look through the property first? This is a nonsense script. And again, they are not sophisticated enough to come up with a script. At least K-Foot, she's pretty good with scripting. She's able to sit down and say, "Okay, let me write this down. No, this makes no sense. Okay, now, okay. She's at least able to somehow narrow things down to something that is a little bit easier to sell. But so I know some of you don't like him, but Joseph Morris, I'm going to play from his channel.
Eastern Nova Scotia, a chilling mystery gripped the province on May 2nd, 2025, when 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack vanished from their rural home, leaving behind very bizarre details. So as the search enters its 5th day, online sleuths on TikTok found an interview with the...
By the way, I hate the term sleuth because I know some of you are excellent in deciphering, uh, getting... Yeah, I don't like this kind of talk either. It's not a good thing to label, because there are people who only talk crap all day, mislead about cases, and there are others that are excellent in putting together the significant statements. So I find it actually offensive to use that term so broadly, because a lot of you are much better than professionals, so-called professionals. And so I will just tell you what happened was that he wouldn't know that Lily was sick on Friday if he just woke up and was drifting in and out of sleep. But he had told us that she was sick on Friday. How did he know? And of course, he didn't want to tell us that they've been gone. Somebody said all week. Were they in school Monday or Tuesday? I don't know. I hear conflicting statements. I know for sure Wednesday there was no school, right? And Thursday and Friday they were not in school. Either of them. So were they both sick, or were they already gone? Which is what I think exactly was the case. And I tell him, my partner Daniel, I tell him blah blah blah. Okay, yelling. Yeah, he needs to demonstrate everywhere. We are looking everywhere. Really? You jumped in your car instantly. I instantly called 911. Just a double I just. No, you didn't. You would say I called 911, because instantly anything that makes it look more dramatic or more final. No. When people create drama within their language, that may indicate they were actually very calm, telling each other what to say when police comes. And he later told us, I was waiting for police to come. That was actually what his main focus was, waiting for police to call them and then wait for police to come. The waiting for police to come stands out to me, because that's exactly where the tension kicks in. Police will come. Let's get our story straight. Let's make sure. The energy was not given to any type of search. The energy was focused on what's going to be happening when the police will get here. So I just had the instinct that I needed to call. Really? Your kids are missing and you call this an instinct? That's just what you do, right? My kids are missing. Because she says, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We were looking outside, not inside, outside. We are looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. And you have to justify why you called 911. You have to explain that you called 911 because you had the instinct that I needed to call. That tells me the reason you called 911 is a different reason. Because chances are you delayed calling them for at least a day and finally got yourself together, maybe came down from the drugs well enough, cleaned up, gotten yourself together, talked about what happened, and eventually got to the point where you said, you know what? We need to call them now because we can't, go another week. We can't, they can't be absent from school forever. And it's going to be so suspicious. We need to call them now. People don't justify why they call 911 when their kids are missing. People call real quick. They demand help. I'm paying my taxes. Now I need you. I'm a good citizen, decent citizen, okay citizen. I have to now get you to help me. This is when you demand. When your child is missing, you demand from people. You are demanding. You don't say, I just want them home. You don't say, I just, all I ask. No. And especially you don't talk about other missing children like Chrisfoot. You can only think about one thing, and that's your child missing. There are many questions where Seth Rogers is not able to answer because he cannot get himself to think about anything else. Now she says they're both really go lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in the store. Then she says, everyone. She is telling us that anybody could have gotten them. Anybody, anyone. And what does it indicate? It indicates that she may know whom the children were given to.